No, a president can't rewrite legislation with an executive order. It takes the Congress to write the legislation in the first place. If he could do that, he could have written the whole health care bill without conferring with Congress and just written it all by executive order.
Right.
And I happen to be an individual who's gone to court to prove that point. Our current Secretary of Agriculture, Tom Vilsack, was elected governor of Iowa. And I was in the state Senate at the time, and his executive order number 7, which was one of the first ones that he issued, granted special protected status for sexual orientation and gender identity. We know that language by now. We didn't know it much then. And when I saw that administrative bulletin item of the executive order, I brought a lawsuit against then Governor Vilsack, now Secretary of Agriculture Vilsack, and sued him on the basis that it was a violation of the separation of powers that he had legislated by executive order. I took that case to court, and I won. And the case of King versus Vilsack is in the books, and it goes exactly on point to this issue of the executive order that the President has written that apparently Bart Stupak thinks is going to save him from the consequences of the decisions he's made.
It's not going to save him. Congressman, we got to get to your bill that you've repealed, but one more question for you. Do you have any confidence at all that the 4 years that we are taxed, that money is going to sit in a lockbox or in a pot somewhere that nobody's... Why are you laughing? Congressman, why are you laughing?
Well, we've got to keep our spirits up, and when you tell me a joke like that, I just have to respond by laughing a little. No, I don't have any confidence that that's going to happen. We raided the Social Security Trust Fund to the tune of over $2 trillion. We dropped IOUs in the filing cabinet in Parkersburg, West Virginia, to replace the money. So I guess that's what we do, too. If we really have a conscience, we'll write some IOUs and drop them in a filing cabinet, and then we'll worry about paying the bills later. This is all connived to try to get to a number that will allow the president to sign a bill that's in the neighborhood of $900 billion. And Inga, I have to add to this. There's $469.2 billion in new taxes in this bill, a $500 billion cut from Medicare that is not going to take place, and a doctor's fix that's worth over $300 billion that should be in it that's not. So that nets out about $1.3 trillion that don't show up in this, and it just isn't going to work.
And amnesty next. Amnesty next, cap and trade, right?
Pretty nice.
We've got, and I've long said that there are 3 big pieces of legislation that the president would like to move in any form, and you've just said them all: cap and trade, amnesty, and socialized medicine.
Yep, there you go. Well, Congressman, it sounds like you've just entered a huge crowd.
Okay, now I slipped in to vote quickly.
You slipped in to vote?
I'm going to go back to the quiet area.
Oh, okay. Did you vote while we were talking?
I did, just in about the last 15 seconds.
History was made. I love that. That's awesome.
I'm multitasking.
You are multitasking. Well, just in a nutshell, how many different congressmen have written a bill to repeal? You and how many others?
I can think of Michelle Bachmann and Bob Inglis. They're the only ones that I know. Something could have happened within the last 24 hours that I might not have caught up on. And it's really interesting. Michelle Bachmann and I work so closely together on things, and things happen so fast. A lot of it's by instinct. And, you think it looks like it's planned, but really it's just we're on the same page and we go to work and it emerges. And interestingly, on Sunday night, as this final vote was actually had just gone up, the south lawn here, south of the Capitol, where I'm looking out from this upper deck right now down to it, was full of Tea Party patriots and other kinds of patriots and 9/12 people and just constitutional conservatives. They had bullhorns. They kept chanting. They had American flags, "Don't tread on me" flags. They're the awesome American people. And I had gone down several times to speak to them and rally them up. And so as that vote went up, I went back down and walked down around the grass down into the bottom where they were inside. And they brought several bullhorns over. And I stood there, and I had refused to tell them what our strategy would be if the bill passed. Our energy needs to be on killing the bill.
Yeah.
Well, the bill had passed, so then I laid out the strategy, and I said, we're going to introduce legislation to repeal this, and we're going to move a discharge petition as quickly as we can get it cured, and we're going to ask people to sign on to that and work for the repeal as well as the rest of the sequence of things we must do. I finished up with the bullhorn, and as I was working my way back through the crowd, I could hear Michelle Bachmann standing up on the deck above me without the microphone, but saying essentially the same thing. And I didn't know that she was working on that, and so I couldn't sleep. When I got up in the morning, I asked for a bill draft to repeal it right away as soon as they opened for business that Monday morning. And that bill draft, they deal with those in the order of request that come down. And mine came down. I got that within a few hours, and Michelle Bachmann's came down just 3 minutes after mine.
Wow.
So it's almost like if one of us hit the bullseye, the other one was Robin Hood and split the arrow.
That's great. That is terrific. Good. We need you guys. We need you guys back there doing this. We haven't forgotten. I tell you, Congressman King, it is my mission every day to talk about local and state issues primarily, and then national issues. But I tell you, this is people can't get over it. They're not over it. They're confused. They're angry. The more they learn, the more angry they are. And we're prepared to fight. We just don't know what that fight's supposed to look like, Well, but
this fight, there will be a fight here, and we've got to keep this up. It's also going to be in every community, in every congressional district, in the state house races as well. Yep. We need to bring constitutional conservatives into office everywhere across the country. And then I'd point out something, too, that should give us some inspiration. And that is about 15 or more years ago, the IRS issued a ruling that if we were going to deduct our miles for business purposes, that we had to maintain a detailed log that showed wherever we drove and which components of that were business and which were not. Short version would be if I went down to check the cows, I could deduct that, but if I stopped to get the mail on the way back, I couldn't deduct the trip to the mailbox and back, so I was supposed to subtract it. And the American people just rejected that. After trying to keep those logs, they said, nuts, I am not going to live under the kind of police state that requires us to write down wherever we go and give that information to the IRS. And after about 6 months, the IRS had to capitulate and concede that they were not able to enforce such a thing. And I think that's some of the way the American people are going to react to this health care bill, and it is the IRS that's enforcing it.
Yeah.
So we have a chance here. If the American people keep their back up, we can shut this down, and we're going to court every place we can.
Good. Our backs are up. We're supporting those who are going to court. Of course, as long as Jerry Brown is our Attorney General, we probably won't be involved in California, but we shall see. We got November around the corner. And Congressman Steve King, I am so grateful for your friendship, for the hard work that you do on behalf of the American people, and we'll continue to follow this bill and continue to follow your fight. Thank you for fighting it.
That's my privilege to be with you and my privilege to serve Americans in a time like this. If I'm going to be here during a time, I'm glad I'm here for this fight, Inga.
You bet.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Have a terrific day. All right.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Oh,